Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, What's Up with Wrestling, or in another way, What's Up with Wrestling? Put a little positive spin on it. And now this episode is actually take two. I'd already recorded about 10 minutes or so, but, but then at the very moment that I laid out a warning to the background noise, the dogs barking, and music playing, my neighbors just so happened to bless me with a little rendition of Destination Unknown with the bass turned all the way up to exceeding levels that it was reverberating my floor of my apartment. So I had to ditch that one because the audio was no good and it was very, very frustrating. And I just can't do anything about it. It's Mexico. So I'm just going to give this a run. I can't be bothered waiting anymore. I just want to jump into the podcast. And so if you do hear some music in the background, I'm very sorry about it. If there's dogs barking or people talking. It's just how it is in Mexico City. Um, Today, I am not joined by the lovely Jessica Jackson, unfortunately. I got rid of her. Threw her out. Done with her. No, 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 no. She's actually flying, she just transferred in Atlanta, and she's flying currently back home to England um, to renew her passport. So nothing exciting, really. It's just yeah, just go back to see. She gets to go back and see her family. Gets to go back and see our dog, which I'm very excited for her, and it's very a nice time that she gets to spend 3 weeks back in Inglaterra. So I get to do this by myself. I'm flying solo. I've never done a podcast by myself. Never just talked into a microphone and put my thoughts out there. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. And as I'm speaking right now, there's a motorbike in the background. You probably can't hear it. It's just for me trying to concentrate on this podcast. It's so very hard. But yeah, so I'm doing this by myself today. We'll see how it goes. It might just be rambling. It might be all shit. I have no idea. But I'm just gonna put my thoughts down. I got a bunch of questions that a lot of listeners have been sending in. Again, like it, when me and Jess we started this podcast, and I think it's true of anything that you do in life is like there's a lot of anxiety, like is this going to be received well, and is the podcast going to be entertaining and stuff like that, and all the feedback that we have received so far has been phenomenal. Thanks to everybody who supports. There's a whole bunch of you that continuously sends in questions and sends in positive feedback and stuff like that. So it's really it really makes you inspired to make more content week to week, because sometimes depending on the week and what you've done and stuff, like it's really hard to put something together. And even today I was thinking, should I even do it without Jess here? But I wanted to keep the content rolling. So you know, that's where we're at currently. So Travis, if I may. Well, yes, Travis. No, I'm not going to do that for like an hour. That's terrible. Uh, what's up with the wrestling? Well, my friends, what? I don't remember when we updated you guys last, but on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, I was fortunate enough to go to Tulancingo for DTU and run a seminar for all the young wrestlers. And again, I love teaching. It's one of my dreams. What Obviously my dream is wrestling, but also some part of my passion is to teach wrestling, and I really take pride in doing that. So to be able to go around Mexico and share my knowledge with people is incredible. And like DTU took care of us immensely. Like they put us up in a nice hotel, took us out for food, paid for all that sort of stuff, and it was a really warm reception. And I don't know if you guys saw on my social media or not. They gave me such a warm welcome. That we walked into the gym, me and Jess, we walked into the gym, and all the students, I was about 40 students, they had signs that said, "Welcome to Tulancingo." like signs with like my face and stuff on it, and it was really really heartwarming. And like for me, being like a little bit of an awkward shy kid, like that stuff always kind of like I don't know what to say. Like I'm really really grateful for what it is, but like in the moment I'm so like lost for words because I don't know how to act or feel. It's just I just sort of walk around in a trance, like oh, like, just keep repeating gracias, like gracias, gracias, gracias. So no, it was really special for us. And then the next night on Saturday, Jess actually had a match. It was her and Exotico, I think I might have this wrong, versus Giselle Short and Camouflage, and I got involved a little bit at the end and setting up a little bit of a storyline going forward with DTU. DTU is a great company. It's it's known it's known in the past for hardcore wrestling and strong style wrestling, so perfect for my style. But yeah, he treated us really well. I also got to check out the El Santo Museum, um, which to me is crazy that a wrestler has a museum and just so much facts and just to see a legend in lucha libre like just change the course of the the culture, I guess, and just be so you know I don't know it was so like crazy to me just to think like I think back to the start of my career and like I was trying to obviously not compare because that would be silly and stupid, but like he at one point must have felt the same ways that I did. And did he know what he was doing? And at what point was he like, damn, I'm like the fucking man? You know what I mean? I'm the biggest star of all time. Did he know that? And that stuff always like, yeah, it like trips me out. It was incredible. What an amazing setup. There was just, it was a great museum. And then it had like up the top all kind of the local wrestling heroes around Tulancingo, like Arrow Boy, Crazy Boy, Super Crazy, and Paranoica and stuff like that. So to come to a country like Mexico and just be a part of like the history of lucha libre is it makes you feel so special, I guess. So yeah, so we did that, and then I had the absolute worst travel journey on Monday, I worked for Perrot. No, not Perrot. That's not right. Perrot? Perrot? I can't remember if I said that right or not. Uh, he is a referee for AAA and he runs shows all around the country. And they can either be, or they're really far, mainly 8 plus, 10 plus, 11 plus, 12 plus hours in a small van. And my current years in wrestling, my body feels it very much so. So it was good though. But what was great about it was like I didn't know what the card was. I didn't know who was on it until I got into the van, and o- the original Octagon was there, and I knew that I would be wrestling in the main event because I usually do on these shows. And I was thinking, am I going to get to wrestle Octagon? Which was crazy. So what it turned out, and it ended up being, uh, we went to this like town, middle of nowhere, about 12 hours away. Well, I felt like that. I don't know if it actually was 12 hours, but it was called. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Juhipia, Juhipia, Juhipia. Take one of those for what? Just take one of them. It's Juchipila. There you go. And it was just like it was like a carnival. Ring was set up in the middle. Whole town sort of turned out. And it was again, it was incredible. Those sort of shows, the kind of just family shows, and yeah, it's they're easy, and you just kind of yell at the crowd and insult insult the Mexicans because you're a foreigner. And yeah, so I it was me and Electroshock, another legend in Mexico versus Octagon, and who's the other guy? Oh, Hurricane Ramirez Jr. And yeah, great, awesome. I'm really grateful and blessed, and really really fortunate that I'm able to wrestle these guys that are a part of like the history of lucha libre. Um, and and yeah, and like when else would I ever get to wrestle octagon? Is the craziest thing, and like I always have to stop myself and pinch myself and realize that like even though a lot of bad things have happened, and the course of my professional wrestling career has veered so heavily off track to where I thought it was going to be, it's actually led me to some really beautiful places. Um, and I think I've said it in previous podcasts. Like some of the people that I've met here in Mexico are so important to my life now that it's hard to think like that this could have happened. I don't know if I've said this correctly. Like like my life was probably, or my course of my career was probably going to come this way anyway because of the important people that have come into my life and the experiences that I've had. Me and Jess have shared together here in Mexico. Um, and I would have never have gotten that opportunity had all those horrible things happened to me um, in the last 3 years. But I digress. So yeah, so yeah, and that was my weekend. But then the travel back was just uh, the for anybody wanting to get into professional wrestling, the hardest part of it is the travel. The wrestling's easy. Yeah, you take some sore bumps and you're a little stiff and worse for wear in the next morning. But at the end of the day, the thing that takes the toll on me the most is the travel. And as I get older in the business, it just gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. Um, but yeah, so I came back and then Jess looked after me like a little baby. She just rubbed ibuprofen gel on my knees and my neck and just sorted me right out. And I just slept all of the next day. So, that was awesome. And so yeah, as I said, Jess is going to renew her passport. I don't want to say what it's for, but there's a lot of exciting developments in her career coming up that I am really excited to share with you guys in the future. What else have we got? What else have we got? Or do we go right into questions? And I think it's probably best because otherwise I'm going to overrun on this time. And yeah. Okay, here we go, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right. From Guerrero Odecio. Oh, God, Odecio MX. I've said this wrong already. ¿Qué sentiste al sentir el apoyo del público en Salamanca? How do you feel? Uh, Hold on. I've got it. I know what this says, but I just want to just double check the translation. And I don't know if you guys can hear that. The dogs in the back. Okay, hold on one second. Let me write this in. So I know I'm pretty sure I know what it what it means, but I always just have to double check because I've been caught out so many times with promoters where I've like lost the actual meaning of what they're saying because I've thought, or my ego has my ego wanted to believe that I knew what I was reading. Uh, Here we go. Right. Uh, that dog in the box. I don't know if you can hear it, but he barks 24 hours a day, and I would like to say something, but I don't. I don't know Spanish enough to to have a conversation about it. Yeah, this is what. Okay, so ¿qué sentiste al sentir el apoyo del público en Salamanca? Which means, what did you feel when you felt the support of the public in Salamanca? Um, Incredible. My good friend Septimo Dragon is from Salamanca, and breathe, just breathe. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, water off a duck's back. It's my eye twitching. There's a camera on me. You can see my eye twitching right now. It's I cannot avoid it. I've tried to switch rooms. I've tried to um I've tried to cover the mic a little bit more, but I cannot just get away from the noise that's always just buzzing around the back. So again, I'm not gonna say it anymore. You guys have had the warning. If you're still listening, thank you very much. So yeah, Salamanca, Septimo Dragon. He it was a very again, I just talked about like how my life and my wrestling career have taken a weird turn into Mexico, and I wouldn't want to change that because I've met so many great people, and Septimo Dragon's one of them. It came about so weird. So what happened? What had happened was I was booked on the Crash. I think it might have been my first Crash since I moved to Mexico, and it was me and Marty Skrull versus Lince Dorado and Destiny. Now, if you guys are familiar with the story, what had happened? Obviously, me and Marty have some issues in the past, and Lince Dorado wanted to take it upon himself to talk on my situation and try and make a stand and get clout and all this stuff. The stuff that comes along with mine and my situation and Marty's situation. But what was great was the Crash. So Lindsay put up a big statement about it, about how he didn't feel comfortable, which is fair enough. If you don't feel comfortable, go ahead, man. But what had happened was Crash actually took our side and just put him off the card. Now they didn't have to do that for me, and I'm at that time when in Mexico, I very much appreciated that they actually went to bat for me because I just needed the chance. Needed the chance to show that I'm still just a professional wrestler. There's no issues at all, you know? And they did. And the replacement was Septimo Dragon. And I don't think it could have worked out any better because since then he has been an important part of my journey here in Mexico and a very, very good friend and a good brother. So to be able to, so I worked in Salamanca. I don't remember the exact date, but not too long ago, maybe 2, 3 months ago. And it was me and him versus Dark Oz and Kukai, this guy from Japan, and Dark Oz of the sector. And incredible. Salamanca really. Usually, I work as a bad guy, and usually get the boos and the jeers and people yelling out like "Pichuero," like "fucking white boy," and all that stuff. So like I worked as a good guy in this one, and because obviously I was with Septimo Dragon, the support was incredible, and you know to go to these small towns that I would never think that I would ever wrestle in, and to have people know me. Well, one, have people know me, and have people support me is like I don't think like I could replicate that. It makes me feel so fortunate and so mm, valued. I guess would be the word. Especially like after everything that's happened, like it's really really easy for me to wake up most days and feel very, yeah, I get filled with anxiety, or like I feel like is what I'm doing worth it? And then when I go and do shows like this, I'm reminded of why it's worth it. You know. So yeah, the I felt amazing, and Salamanca has been like one of my second homes since I've been here in Mexico, and thank you to muchas gracias a la gente. So okay, so the next one, Jeff 278. Would you wrestle for WWE again? God, where do you? Shit. Where do you even start? And not try. Here's the thing. Like again, I've never done like just a single podcast. Me just spilling my thoughts into the microphone. So like, where do I even begin to like unpack something like this? Because the truth is, they it wasn't their fault. They were just a company doing what a company does and looking out for their own business. So I understand that completely. But when you take that side and like how it affected me personally when I left that job, um, was the absolute worst. I've said it publicly before, but they canceled my work visa in a time of a pandemic that didn't that weren't going to give out any more like temporary work visas because there was no work to even have. So I had to leave the country with no paycheck and just try and figure out what I was going to do. I was looking into getting a house, and my dog was there and stuff like that. So it's hard not. I I always try and be professional in the sense of like take my personal feelings out of it. I understand what the way that why they did what they did, but then also it's hard not to feel personally slighted when so much stuff was affected by losing that job. Now, with that said, I think it would be disingenuous for me to say no, I wouldn't take that job again. And everybody there has always treated me really, really well. Um, and I understand that was just business and a business decision. So I think it would be disingenuous for me to say no, I wouldn't go back. I would love to go back, obviously, but I don't want to sound like I'm begging for a job back. Because you know, I don't know. Maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's some anxiety. I don't know. I don't. I can't really tell you. But like, I would love to go back. It's it's the dream I think of most wrestlers to, and I think too like now, especially being in Mexico for 2 years and not having a paycheck for professional wrestling like that, like a salary, and having like guaranteed money coming in, like just having that safety, um, would be nice again. And I I know a lot of people hated NXT UK and the product that it was, and we would get a lot of shit um, from fans, and just like why would they sign with that? Why wouldn't they go explore other options? They've ruined the UK scene or whatever like that. But the thing was, is like at that time when I signed to NXT or when I signed to WWE, sorry, I was 30 years old. I needed to make a decision for myself and put some money away and save. And I don't know if people think that's selling out or I don't know. I don't know, but at the end of the day, like you have to live your like for me personally as a wrestler, I have to live my life, and I need to save some money for a future, you know. And lucky that I did save with NXT, and I did because I pretty much used that to live throughout the pandemic, and then also now in Mexico. Um, so I just think it's stupid to say that you wouldn't take if they asked me or they offered me something or something shifted in the narrative around me that they would offer me a job back. I think it would be stupid for me to say no to that. Considering that I have a family, um, Jess and my dog. We don't. Well, our dog is our child. To look out, I have to provide for. And some of my other goals with this business, like especially when I started making money in WWE, was like I wanted to pay my parents back for helping me with all the sacrifices, and and when I was at my fucking absolute worst, they've always been there to support me and get me back on track. So that was like one of my goals as well. Like it wasn't just like selfishly I wanted to make money and be famous or anything like that. It was like also I want to provide for the people that have been good around me, and not saying that they need like my help, but like I would like to give back, and I think that's a fucking good noble thing to do. Like for me personally as a man, like give back to the people that have helped me. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer, but like yeah. So would you wrestle for WWE again? Short answer, yes. Okay. Who have been the people in Mexico that have helped you the most? Oh shit! Fuck! Oh god! I can't. Oh, this is gonna be a big list, but like I don't want to. Maybe I'll just go through it really quickly. Number one, right out the gate, that came to the top of my head was Ricky Marvin. Nobody was giving me a chance at the booking, especially after being cancelled and all that shit. And he was the first person that said, "Hey man, I know what you're about. It's hard coming to a country like you don't know the language, you don't know anything, and that's already hard enough. And then on top of that, you've got your own stuff that you're dealing with as well. And there's a lot of bullshit politics that I'll probably expand on later in another podcast. That it really blocked me from making any fucking headroom in Mexico. And Ricky Marvin was the first person that said, "Hey, come wrestle for one of my shows that I'm promoting." It was called La Cueva del Dragon, the Cave of the Dragon. It was at Calcalco, and me and him were in the main event. We had a fucking awesome match, and it's personally it was what I needed at the time as well because I was really frustrated and sad, and having a match with somebody of that caliber of Ricky Marvin, um, really kept me going. There's another guy. He runs WLS Wrestling League Society. It's on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment because of his work, but his name's Javier. He really helped me. He helped me move into this apartment. He's really been there a lot when if I message him about anything that I need to know about Mexico or whatever, he's always been there for me. So I don't want to miss him out. A guy called Jorge Cabrera. Don't really speak to him too much now, but I just wanted to make it known if he ever listened to this that me and Jess appreciate the couch that he gave us to sleep on when fucking we were thrown out of when we left something. I might say that another time, but when we left Bandito ship, uh, he provided us with a place to stay, and that, in my heart, I'll forever be grateful for that. Renee Rocks comes to mind as well, promoter of SCW. Um, Again, SCW is a really a small company, but I really, mm, my heart really goes out to them, and I wish them all the success. They were a company that just embraced me with open arms and really, really made me feel valued. And Renee, me and Renee, and I've said this a thousand times, but me and Renee, I would put Renee Rocks in the top guys that have wrestled amongst Osprey, amongst Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, um, Jordan Devlin, you know, Zack Sabre Jr., Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne. I would put Renee amongst all those guys because he's an incredible talent, and I wish him all the success in the world. Herodes Jr. He always helps me with bookings and work, and just anytime I need anything or an ear to listen to, he's always there for me. So that's another guy. Oh shit, man, there's way too many to name. I'm gonna miss them, and I'm really sorry. Iron Kid, um, had some incredible matches when I first got here with Iron Kid, and he gave me a lot of dates as well, and that's what I needed whenever I first got here and get people talking about me and stuff like that. And then there's a guy. It's not in Mexico, but the promoter from Costa Rica, RWA, Gabriel. He also, again, just fucking in the same category, same bracket as everybody else I've just said. He's helped me a lot, and I'm forever grateful for these people that have really, you know, fuck. Besides all the bullshit and everything that has fucking surrounded me for the last 3 years, these guys were able to see through the noise. Fucking yeah. I guess that's how you'd say it. See through the noise and and just and see me for who I truly am, and not for who people want to tell. Hold on, let me say this again, and not for mm, and not for who the people on the internet say that I am. They saw me as a person, um, and just open their hearts and help me out a lot. So I don't want to. Fuck, it's hard because I don't want to get emotional about it, but maybe maybe in another podcast, maybe in another one. Okay, what's next? Let's move on to the next question. Mr. Maniac 2002. What has been the most difficult movement to learn in wrestling? That's a good question, Mr. Maniac, and I will provide you the answer when I think about it. I remember very early on when I very first started in New Zealand for a company called NZWPW. Um, there was the promotion, but I've told my story a million times. But there was also like it was like a troubled youth course that like ah, long story short, there was a couple of us that were on this course during the day, and then 2 or 3 times a night we would also train wrestling with the actual promotion into WPW. Now, me and this guy called Jaden, who would then become GIJ. Shout out to Jaden, I love him very much. Um, we would train every single day in the ring. together. And Martin, my coach, he would put us in the ring together every day and just learn basics and stuff. And that was the most fucking valuable time of my career, because that's when I really became sharp with the basics. And yeah, but there was one thing that we do, and it's not really like a move that was used that's used in this era. It's like a standing. You see it a lot in like old World of Sport matches and stuff. It's like a standing head scissors. Like you hook onto the guy's shoulders and you throw your legs up over there. Hold on, I can see people. Just sitting on the floor, I can see people walk past. Come on, go, go, go. Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, so you put your hand on their shoulder and you throw your legs up over their head, and then they take kind of like a forward roll. And I understood the concept of it, but Jaden, the guy that I was training with, he had he couldn't understand how to base, how to get somebody up and support their weight, because he was a really skinny kid as well. And then later, oh man, there's so much to him, but later he worked out like a fucking trooper, man, and then he got so huge because he had no like limit in his mind. He would just keep working out and just keep just smashing back protein. He had just like no limits in his mind. It was incredible, but at that time he didn't really know how to base weight and stuff like that. So every time I would throw my legs up and over his head to get into the head scissors maneuver and roll forward, he would just drop me on the top of my head every single time. And Martin was a hard teacher too. And he would be like, dude, fucking do it again. Kind of sounds like Ricky Marvin, which is funny because they have similar voices. But like, yeah, and that was frustrating to say the least. But no other movements are really that hard. I remember I tried to teach myself how to just running shooting star on the mat, and I would just kill myself every time. I was actually talking about it last night with Jess. She was like, "Did you just try like give everything a go when you first started?" And I said, "Yeah, I was just trying to do everything that I could, because I wasn't super flippy as a kid. I never did backflips on the trampoline or anything like that. So I was trying to teach myself. Once I realized that I could do things in a wrestling ring, I started just trying everything, moonsaults off the apron and all this stuff. And I remember one particular day trying to do like a running shooting star and just killing myself for like an hour. I tried to teach myself how to springboard 450, and the best I could do was springboard 450 to my feet and land on my feet. And I was disappointed that I couldn't get it into the splash. And everyone's like, "But you're doing it to your feet. That's pretty good." I was like, I was so angry that I couldn't get it into the splash. But yeah, so those are the first things that come to mind. Um, but that fucking standing hit scissors was the one that really really would get me. Okay, let's move on. This was sent in by Ida. What's the worst thing about being a wrestler? Oh boy, Ida, what the fuck, man? How much time do you have? No, again. Here's the thing, right? I don't even know where to start with this, because there's too many broad. I don't want to like generalize too much, you know, because I could sit here and start talking about expectations from fans, or worrying about like reviews from fucking somebody like a Dave Meltzer, you know, or I can sit here and talk about the backstage politics and how people try and block you when they get insecure, or I can sit here and talk about people who you think are your friends are really not your friends, um, because of insecurity. Um, there's a laundry list of things that I could sit here and tell you that are the worst things about being a pro wrestler. But the thing that keeps me in the business is the work. And every single time, and I don't mean that, I don't want this to sound like super emotional or soppy or like super cliched, but every single time that I go out there and the fans react to me, and for that 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes that I'm out there, I don't think about anything else. Like, I'm only there to entertain and do a good job in that ring. Um, and that literally, though, that little amount of time that I spend in the ring will erase everything that I fucking hate about the behind the scenes of pro wrestling. And and I think that's either like it's either a curse or it's the beauty of it. It's worth it. Um, but yeah, it can be a very difficult business to navigate, especially when you come into a new scene and you don't know sort of how to again how to navigate things and how people work and stuff like that. But I don't. It's hard because I don't want to sit here and waste time on what's the worst things about being a wrestler when there's so many more beautiful things about this business. You know, and I'm sorry if that's like a cop out answer, and you probably want to hear more dirt or whatever. But like, there's so much shit personally for me that I have to deal with on a fucking daily basis to do with this business. Fucking, hateful comments and people making fucking fake profiles and just to get at me for like no reason and just mitigating all that. And then on top of all of that, then reading stuff like, oh, like just the general reviews, oh, he's a shit wrestler. Then on top of that, just being happy with my matches, like in myself personally. Then also on top of that, I would have fucking be in shape and battle fucking heavy body dysmorphia and wanting to look the best. There's so many like things that aren't so fucking glamorous about this business that nobody would ever see. But we do it because this is what, like, for me personally, it's what I want to do. It's what I love to do. I love to fucking entertain people, and I can fucking deal with all that fucking bullshit if I just get to fucking go out there in front of the fans one more time. Hope that answers it, Edda. This is from Tom. Will you shake my hand? Yes, I will shake your hand confidently, proudly. I'll look you square in the eye. I'll give you a bloody firm handshake, my friend, as well. And what is the circumference of your cojones? Well, shit. I don't know, man. I haven't measured. But I'll tell you what I'll do, mate. What I'll do is after this podcast is done, after I've wrapped it, I'll get out the tape measure and I'll uh, I'll I'll get the details down and get the numbers, collect the data, and then I'll email them through to you. All right, mate. All right. Who's this one? Alero Jesh 12. What is the most important strength any company want? I fucked it up completely. What is the most important strength any company wants on a young wrestler? Um, are you teachable? Are you going to cause problems? Do you have problems? Um, and if you do, what are you doing to rectify those problems? Um, the main one I would say is, are you teachable? They want to know if you have a good attitude. Will you just do what they ask? Um, and it's hard for me sometimes. I think it's hard for everybody to battle the ego, yourself, ego, fuck, your ego. Um, yeah, I think it's hard to battle ego. Um, when they ask you something that's a little bit silly or maybe doesn't fit the character that you think that you are. But at the end of the day, it's, do you want the job or don't you? And can you make whatever they ask of you work? And I've tried to always fall into that category of always trying to make something work, even if I didn't really agree with it. But I think being teachable is probably the most beneficial piece of advice for that question. And keep your fucking nose clean, or you'll lose your fucking work visa and your job. All right, Sam Mac, Sammy V, my friend from New Zealand. Any plans to go back to New Zealand? Um, Fuck, man, I would love to, dude. I had a lot of great times in New Zealand wrestling, and I was a lot younger in New Zealand wrestling then as well. Sorry, not in New Zealand wrestling, just in my career, and I was really stubborn, really fucking. Mm, I kind of just wanted things. I had a vision for. Okay, fuck it. I guess if we're gonna get into it, I had a very particular like path path and goals and a vision for professional wrestling that I don't think New Zealand provided me. No, sorry, that's fucking wrong to say. New Zealand provided me a great path, and I had a fucking great time into WPW and IPW and wrestling with all my friends, and I met some fucking amazing people. Um, but then I had a bigger vision than New Zealand was then able to provide for me. And I think in myself, I got very, very frustrated. I got very, very stubborn. I didn't take a lot of shit from people there, and that caused a lot of conflict. Um, it it sucks to this day, considering everything that has happened with the movement and stuff, that I would not be welcomed back into a country that I put so much effort into building up. It makes me really, really sad because I cared a lot about the companies that I was involved with. Um, I, I, I just wanted a lot of the wrestlers to be better and reach more of their potential. But in saying that, in hindsight, that's not my fuck. I wanted to at the time, and I was the trainer of IPW at the time, and I wanted to. I wanted to bring the fucking hell. I'm stumbling with my words, but I wanted to bring New Zealand to such a great standard because when I started in New Zealand, I fucking loved. They were on Sky One. They were like on TV. They did the NZPWI um, Invitational, and that's the one of the first things I watched of New Zealand wrestling, and that to me was cool. The characters were awesome. Everybody seemed to take it very professional. And when I kind of stepped in, especially into IPW, and I became the trainer after I got back from Japan, I was really fucking passionate about building that scene up because I had no idea where I was going to go at that point. I had no clue where my path was going to take me. So if I was going to be in that place at that time, I wanted to be the absolute best. And I really, I guess, expected more from some of the talent, and it wasn't my job to like force that out of them or push them if they didn't want to be pushed. And I'm not fucking saying that I. There's a fucking lot of talk out there that says that I fucking bullied people in New Zealand, like in the training. No, absolutely not. And I don't fucking know why those stories started because I only ever wanted people to be the fucking best versions of themselves. And if they couldn't handle that, that's on them. That's not me. That's not my fault that I couldn't get it out of them. But I will say that I maybe shouldn't have fucking pushed so hard and got so upset when the standard that I had had in my mind wasn't being met. Um, so I guess what I'm trying to say is like I get really upset, passionate. I don't know what the words are when I think about New Zealand because I did love that scene and I do love that scene, and I have like a lot of friends there and like some really fucking good memories. And then to like now just be fucking like treated like I'm thrown out with the garbage is like it. It's like what was, I guess, like what was all that for? I don't really know. But I would love to. To fucking answer your question, I guess I would love to um be welcome back. But I digress. What's Benji up to whilst you're in South America? Benji, fuck, we're just hitting with all the fucking sad, sad question. Benji is with Jess's parents. It was the most hardest decision to leave him there, but we had no idea what we were coming into in Mexico. We didn't know where we were gonna stay or nothing like that. So we didn't want to give him a shit life or make it harder than it was for us to move here and continue on with my career, especially, and have to and because I only want the best for him and make sure he's happy and he would have the best life right now with Jess's parents. Until I can fucking sort something out or we can sort something out together and provide for him a better life and because right now my apartment's not that big, and I wouldn't want him living here, and there's not like really like parks or anything like for him to run around. So like it's just unfair. And so like selfishly, I'd love for him just to be here, but like I had to think unselfishly and what would be best for him and his happiness. And he's so that's why we left him there. But I tell you what, dudes, listening to this podcast is the fucking most painful shit I've ever had to endure, leaving my fucking dog behind. Um, because for so long I was umming and ahhing about getting a dog, and I finally thought that I was in a fucking good place, good steady income, a nice house to be able to have a dog, and I didn't make that decision lightly. Um, and then when I got him, I researched everything about his breed, what he likes, what he needed, everything. I was super. I still am super committed to him, and then you know everything happened the way it did. So yeah, but he's happy, and I am happy that he's happy. You know. Does okay? Does my neck hurt from taking too many rough drivers? Uh, not when I watched the video. Fuck it out. There's a guy called Rough Guts. Shout out to Rough Guts. Fucking one of the fucking best talents that I wrestled in New Zealand. Some of my first matches that we really just went balls to the wall and really just killed it. We're doing shit off the top rope and stuff like that. And he had a move called a rough driver, which was the Michinoku driver. He used to give it to me off the top rope, and I watched some of those the videos back, and fuck, just straight into my shoulder. But I was young and fucking durable, so I could just get back, bounce straight back up. Oh yeah, man. But those were great times. Those matches were something else, man. And you know, okay. Zane Herrera. What exercises do you do to prevent common injuries in the ring? To be honest, Zane, if that is your real name, no, I don't know. It's just constantly. I literally every day that I have off, I work out. And before I work out, I make sure I stretch out properly and warm up properly. And I know it seems really simple, but that's that. And also too, um, I used to stress myself out a lot. Like if I'd miss a workout, I'd be like really annoyed at myself. But now the importance of like rest days, I'll still go to the gym, but I'll just like stretch out, do a lot of static hangs and band and resistant band stuff, and just really like take care of my body that way. On top of that, like eating clean and stuff really helps recovery. So I don't drink anymore either, and I feel like drinking and like being hungover and stuff like that was also taking a little bit of a toll on my body. So since I cut that out, cleaned up my diet, take some more rest days, and just stretched. As simple as that sounds, that's the best injury prevention that I've had in a long time. And I used to get injured a lot. So yeah, and I still get obviously wrestling still gives you the bumps and the bruises, but like it's just what just it's how you can manage it. Sorry, and as I said before with the travel, that's the thing that takes the toll the most, and like that really screws up my neck and stuff. So yeah. No, thanks for that question. Um, what else we got here? Um, okay, we'll do one more. From Fernando, my bro Fernando. Besides the politics and language barrier, what's the most challenging thing in Lucha Libre in Mexico? Oh man. Well, you've just hit two of the the first things I would have thought of. Politics. Yeah, yeah. That was the language barrier wasn't too hard. And if you're a professional in this world of professional wrestling, you can work with anyone. Wrestling is known as a universal language, and I've never ever in my life had a language barrier problem, even when I went to Japan or here in Mexico about putting a match together. I still know all how to do the moves and stuff like so. That's not really a barrier. Obviously it can be a little challenging, but like it's never been an issue. Politics, yes, 1000%. But besides that, I think I don't know, man. Like I can't even think of like something off the top of my. May let me think. Hold on. Maybe I think I think to be honest, maybe the expectation I have. It's what I found challenging is like learning the style. Not so much like the actual moves, but like the expectation from the crowd. There's been many times, and you know this as well, Fernando, but like in IWIG, that the crowd can be a little subdued, and I sometimes I just could, especially at the start. Now it's a lot easier, but I just could not figure out what would make them like wake up, or you start making some noise, and then like a lucha match will go out there and I'll watch it and it won't make any sense to me, but like the crowd will be going crazy. So that was like a really challenging thing to kind of learn the structure of a match and how to make the people react when it very first got here. And also the expectation of fans is always, not just in Mexico, in professional wrestling in general, is always something challenging. And my advice to that is just not care, do what you want to do. So, so yeah, I think that would be it. But that's a great question, really. Really makes me think. But yeah, the expectation of fans, I think, and how you can go about making them react, and especially here in Lucha, where not everything makes sense, especially to this stupid white boy in Mexico. So yeah, those are all the questions that I have. Uh, Damn, we actually got through a lot of stuff, and you're probably sick of hearing my voice right now. But I really appreciate these questions. They really, really make me think back about my career and really want me to, you know, expand on things that I haven't really thought about for a while. But I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the support that everybody still gives me. Uh, it means a lot to me, and me and Jess will me and Jess will keep continuing to make content for you guys. Uh, just because you've been so kind and so nice and so beautiful to us. And I look forward to doing these things, and maybe these maybe these like mini therapy sessions. I can get out how I feel, or how I want to express myself and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. If you're interested in checking out my social media, it's Travis_Banks13. That's my Instagram. Travis Banks, pro wrestler, on every other social media. Don't try me on Twitter because I'm not there. I don't want to be. Yeah, YouTube. If you one more thing as well. If you could leave some feedback, and I think you can like star rate the ones on Spotify, or you can leave a like and a comment and stuff on YouTube. That would help us out tremendously. I always like seeing people's feedback and reading that stuff as well, because and if you have questions as well, like either drop them to me on Instagram, on my Facebook, or on YouTube or Spotify, and I will definitely answer them on the spot on the podcast. Just wanted to shout out to my partner Jess. Hope she's having, I hope she's safe and she's having a great travel. Hope she arrives safe and she has a great time with her family. And we will see her soon. But other than that, guys, this has been the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks. What's up with wrestling? Buzztalk podcast. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. 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 Bye.